Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
We're so glad to have you here this morning. We're going to be talking with Amy Hendrick, who's the Interim Executive Director for the Samaraitan Counseling Center. You may have tuned in last week and seen her as a parent talking about her experience with Hillcrest School and its special program of meeting the needs of children with learning differences. But she's back here with a different hat on, and it's a real pleasure to introduce her to you because she's going to talk about how she came to Samaraitan Counseling Center and what special credentials she has that makes her fit in this role. And tell us a little bit about yourself and your family. And
well, Johnny, my husband's family's been in Odessa for years. They've been here since the 1800s, but he brought me here 25 years ago.
From
San Angelo.
Oh, okay.
So not too far, but we moved here, and I started my career as he started his here in Odessa. He's an attorney, and I started at Medical Center as an assistant administrator. Graduated with a master's degree in healthcare administration from Trinity University. Did an internship, and then we got married, and I moved here. So I worked for Medical Center for about 11, 12 years. Took some time off to stay home with my young children at the time. Then I went back and worked at Odessa College as the Dean of Administration there. Did that for about 8 years. Took some time off from that. During all of that, we've both been very involved in our community, myself through Junior League, through our church. Cal's been on several boards, the CASA board, and one of the boards Cal was on was the Samaritan Counseling Board. So we've been involved with Samaritan. He had been president of the board. They had been through several changes, and he'd worked with them through that. And so as we got to Christmas time this year, he got a message that said, "Do you think your wife would be interested in helping us out? Our executive director has made a move, stayed here locally, thank goodness. We're very happy. He's the new United Way of Midland."
I was going to say, as a matter of fact.
Yes, he is the United Way of Midland director, Mark Alexander, and we're happy that Mark has stayed in the area to use his skills. And Cal said, "Don't ask me what she might want to do." But Samaritan's a wonderful place, and so they needed some interim help. So I have agreed to come out and work with them and be their interim executive director while they do a search and take the time to find the right person for the job.
And I know that you, because you had been introduced to it through your husband, and because of other knowledge that you had within the community, that you liked the mission. And let me just quote the mission of the Samaritan Counseling Center is to provide faith-based professional counseling services, promote healing and wholeness, and complement the ministry of our religious community to 31 counties. Now, tell about how Samaritan Counseling Center is a nationwide organization, and this is just one.
We are.
Cog.
Now, Samaritan became Samaritan, I believe in 2001. I think that's right. I may not have my exact date, but before that, we'd been here as the West Texas Counseling Center since 1973. So we've been here for 40 years, but we joined at whatever year that right date is, we joined the national network, which is Samaritan International. And we are accredited by them, and they have a host of counseling centers across the nation, and they have a really nice network. I've been able to, in my short time, tap into that and use that network. But they do accredit and make sure that counseling centers are doing counseling services with professionals and using the funds, because they're all nonprofit agencies, using the funds in the best ways possible. So Samaritan, the name, and being part of that accrediting group really helps just with some business practices, some general information, some support for our board of directors who are all volunteers to really know, because it's not always, they don't always know the counseling side of things.
And also, it's a great oversight, and it gives you some legalities, what are the laws, everything that you need to know, privacy laws and all kinds of things like that.
There's a lot of good support there. It's always nice to say, yes, we're part of something bigger. But what really makes Samaritan are the people that work out there. And I've had, in my very short time, I've just been there since the middle of January, my short time, I've had the opportunity to watch that mission in action. And as I said, I've worked several other places, all wonderful places, but none that are faith-based. And when you have the opportunity to be in a place and know that if somebody wants counseling that's faith-based, you can provide it, and to go and work and sit in a session and start that session with a devotional with your staff, when I've been in situations that you can't even talk about your faith or start something with a devotional. It's a really nice environment to be in.
And I think to explain that, because most people are not familiar with pastoral counseling.
Right.
And so we're not talking about a specific religion. It's non-denominational, can be Catholic, Jewish, any role within the Christian faith. But what they're saying is that we are made up of mind, body, and spirit. And so to leave out one section, that's leaving out a third of you when you're getting counseling. And so you bring together all of your spiritual makeup, your physical makeup, and your mental makeup, which goes together in your emotional makeup.
Without a doubt.
Which they're catering to. But then you have specialties within this wonderful staff, and I am very familiar with them, because you've got some that work with veterans and their special problems, some that work with children, and dealing directly with how to reach them, and then marital counseling or family counseling or some of the other things.
We do. We've got all the therapists out there can do anything, but they do have their specialties, and like us all, they have their skills. But we definitely can meet the needs of any age, pretty much. Any setting. I
particularly want us to talk about some of your children's programs and veterans programs, but we're going to have to take a break right now. So we'll be back in just a minute and continue this conversation. Join us then.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.